Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It is me, your fearless leader, Commissioner David Hill, also known as the head coach of the team. I am the antidote to your lameness. I am here today to simply explain and to aid our new members. I know we are all so very excited to have new, fresh meat to pick off and totally dominate this season. I know I'm very excited. That we have new people in this league, and I know my wife will do fantastically well. And there's no way that I am just making this video so that I'm helping her in her draft strategy or any strategy going forward. It's for everybody to take in and to absorb and take with a grain of salt, or maybe you want to run with it and do what I'm asking you to do what I suggest. It's up to you guys. First thing I wanted to lay out was the draft day, the draft pick trades that I told you guys about in the first video. Okay, this is very important for you guys to pay attention to, and I really encourage you guys, while you're making your strategy, consider making some trades. It is so much more fun when you have a league of people that are active, people that are willing to work with each other, and you never know what's going to happen. It's way more fun when you're watching the NBA season. Trade deadline comes down and you hear that this guy got shot to this guy got shot to this guy. It's so lame. If you guys just sit on your hands, stay pat, don't want to get burned, just too afraid, and you don't want to make any trades. Come on, be active. The league is funner when everybody is actively involved. People are on the forums, people are making trades. It's just funner for everybody, and really in the end, the winners are the ones that have the most fun, right? Okay, cool. Trades are allowed all the way up until the day of the draft. Okay, you have no time limit. Anytime that I hear of a trade, you can call me, text me, email me, and I will try to do my best to approve it as fast as possible. I guarantee you that by the time the draft happens, if it's a fair trade, it'll get approved, and you guys can be good, okay? You can make any number of trades you want for different picks. There's no limit. So somebody could potentially trade the bottom half of their entire draft and get 10 players that are all top 50 players. It's possible. I don't know why you would do that, because the rest of your team would be crap. But if you wanted to have Maurice Jones-Drew, Adrian Peterson, Chris Johnson, Aaron Rodgers, Calvin Johnson, all those guys, and have nobody else, you're totally welcome to try to do that. Nobody's going to be stopping you. You just have to find somebody that's willing to work with you, and you're going to give them a fair deal, and it's all good to go. Okay? That should get some people excited, right? Be aware. Another thing. Be aware that ESPN does not allow extra picks at the end of the round to fill out your roster. So, if you do that strategy, and you end up trading a bunch of picks for really good guys up here, you have to trade 3 picks for 1 pick, 2 picks for 1 pick, and you keep doing that, you're not going to have a full roster. At the end of the draft, you have to go into the free agent market, and first come, first served basis, you find the players to fill out your team. Okay? They're going to be the bottom of the barrel. You'll probably be fighting with other people to get those players that you want. Okay. That being said, those are little guidelines for you guys to help, just a little bit of rules, okay? Now, for the new people, I'm going to give you guys a little bit of tip, a little strategy for doing this, and a little strategy for your draft, okay? I'm going to be doing this intermittently throughout the season to help you guys get over the hump, to make the league more competitive, because that's my job, so that everybody has fun, because I'm the commissioner, and I take my job very seriously. Okay, tight end, running back, quarterback. Those 3 positions are very top heavy. Okay, that's good to know, because tight end, there's 2 really good tight ends that are better than everybody else. Rob Gronkowski, Jimmy Graham. They're outscoring everybody else. Last year, Rob Gronkowski was on my team, and I absolutely dominated just because he was so much better than anybody else. The way that makes a difference is because when you're going to target people on draft day trades, You might want an extra third-round pick or an extra second-round pick to use on a tight end and to use on your stud quarterback so that you don't have the unfortunate experience of me rolling over your team with Rob Gronkowski with 3 touchdowns and 200 yards in one single game. Tip 1. Running back is very top-heavy. We all know that the league is becoming a passing-first league. There are very, very rare exceptions to Arian Foster, to Ray Rice, Maurice Jones-Drew, if he stays on the Jaguars, of true bell cow backs. What I mean by that is running backs that are the only one in the backfield. There's no threat for immediate playing time. Everybody after those 3 guys either has injury issues, a bad history, not being able to stay on the field. Hello, Darren McFadden. Is lazy. Hello, Chris Johnson. Or has a lot of other people competing for playing time. Okay, I'm talking about the James Starks, Frank Gore. There's good running backs out there, but you can't rely on them because they have so many other people fighting for those carries. You want the players that have the most amount of carries, the most amount of touches, because they're going to have the most chances during the year to score big points for your fantasy team and help you guys win. Quarterback is another thing. Yes, the league is becoming a passing league, but there are 3 or 4 really safe, high echelon quarterbacks that if you do not get those guys, you're probably going to be definitely be a notch below everybody else that does have those guys. I'm talking about Aaron Rodgers, Matthew Stafford, Tom Brady, Drew Brees. Those guys are so freaking amazing that if you're lining up Matt Ryan against Drew Brees, quarterback is already lost. You can already forget about quarterback position. You are going to win when you have Drew Brees and you're going against somebody like Matt Ryan. I don't care what kind of game he has. It's just the numbers don't lie. The guy beat Dan Marino's Dan Marino's passing yard for a season record. Tom Brady breaks touchdown records. Matthew Stafford's only in his 3rd year and he's threw for 5,000 freaking yards, dude. Hello, wake up, people. The reason I'm telling you all this is because this is the kind of strategy that you guys should put into your strategy so you know if you want to make a trade, maybe you want an extra 2nd-round pick, an extra 1st-round pick, you can target the stud running back and stud QB so that you're just that much better than everybody else. Every other position pretty much, other than defensive back, because I don't really know much about him, is very deep. You can get Calvin Johnson, but I guarantee you can get somebody that's almost as good as Calvin Johnson 3 rounds later. Guarantee you. Wide receiver is very, very deep. You can get a number 1 receiver later and later and later and later in the draft. Because it's a pass-heavy league, more and more receivers are becoming fantasy relevant. More and more fantasy receivers like Brandon Lloyd, Brandon Marshall, Roddy White, Julio Jones. You'd be stoked to have those guys as number 1. You can't say that about tight end, running back, and quarterback. Does that make sense? Linebacker is the same way. Okay? There are a lot of really good linebackers out there. You're going to luck into finding somebody that's going to have 8 sacks and 100 tackles. It just happens. Last year, nobody drafted Jason Pierre-Paul, and he was the number 1 outside linebacker, defensive lineman in the league. I was fortunate enough to pick him up because I pay attention and I do this strategy and stuff. And even if I don't have the best draft, I make up for it because in the long run, people that put in the work, they end up winning. Okay? You guys want to be successful in fantasy football? You guys want to win some money? Pay attention. Okay, do a few mock drafts. This is very important because if you have a strategy you think you want to do, you need to test it out. You need to see how it's actually going to perform. And I know it's not the exact replication of our league, but it does make sense for you to practice. Go to ESPN.com, fantasy football, pick on the draft lobbies, live draft lobbies, and do a couple mock drafts. Test out strategies. See what happens when you go quarterback, or quarterback, running back. See what happens when you go running back. See what happens. See what your team is going to look like, and make sure you write that down. Make sure you tinker with it, and you can finally come prepared to a trade meeting. Don't just throw something out willy-nilly. Be prepared. Think about it. What is actually going to work out for your team? I'm almost done here. I just wanted to give you guys a lot of good advice. Put your players into tiers. I do this every single year, and it's worked out for me fantastically. What are the guys you like, and what other players are going to be like them that year? Let's say there's 12 really good receivers. You want to split them up into the top 4, the middle 4, and the bottom 4, so that you know one of those 3 guys in that tier you can get, and you can expect the same amount of production. Thank you, Lenny. Sorting players into tiers is a really easy way to mark people off your list and to find people that you will like without having to remember every single name during the draft. Things go fast. You want to drink. You want to have fun. You want to relax. You don't want to have to be sorting through names. Just look at the tier and say, okay, this guy's got upside. He's in the same tier as this guy I wanted, but he was drafted, so I'll just take this guy. Boom. Another thing, get the best value. This goes with every single thing. For picking a league to be in, obviously you're getting a really hell of value. For 40 bucks, you get me. I'm the best commissioner in the world, obviously. When you're drafting, you want to get players at the best value. You don't want to pay top dollar for every single player. When you're picking in the 3rd round, you want to get the guy that you think is going to be in the 1st round next year. You want to get guys that you think are going to outperform where they're projected, not guys that are just up there because they had one good season. You want guys that are consistently good and good and good, and maybe something happened and they're a little bit lower, but you know they have the potential to be breakout players. Get the best value at every pick, especially when you do trades. Even draft day trades, get the best value. If you are going to give up your number 1 pick, make sure you get a lot for it. Obviously, the guy wants a certain player. Twist him. Get the most out of that pick. That's it for me. Have a good night. My voice is going. Hail the Redskins.